and welcome to another tutorial. My name is Tanya Bakshi, and this time we're going to be going over how you can actually self-host the Parse server that Parse has released. Now, if you've seen my previous tutorials, you know that unfortunately Parse is shutting down, and as of January 28th, I believe, 2017, it's going to be completely shutting down. However, they are going to keep some services up, such as the dashboard, and so essentially what they allow you to do is that they have open sourced the Parse server, sort of the server side of Parse, and so basically you can put that onto your own machine and host your own MongoDB database and have your own little version of Parse running, and of course have your own little basically you can tell your application not to go to the Parse servers by default, but go to your server, and that's really neat. So I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can do that. Let me just show you something really quickly though. Originally, when Parse announced it's going to be shutting down, there was this. There was your application that was that would run on, let's say, some sort of phone. Alright, so this is your application running on a phone. However, there was also a Parse server, and this was, I don't exactly know what the Parse server logo is, but this is sort of like the Parse server over here. And so basically right now what happens is, by default, your application communicates with the Parse server without you having to direct it there. It just the framework is coded in to know where the Parse servers are located. However, what Parse said is, hey, we're going to open source this. So we're going to open source this. We're going to open source this, the Parse server, and so essentially what this will allow you to do is have your own sort of machine, like let's say some sort of Mac. Let's just say this is your machine, this is your server, and essentially what you can do with this is host this Parse server on here. So you can say Parse is running on your server. Alright, and so what they allow you to do is, first of all, they say the step one of your migration, essentially they gave us exactly 1 year to migrate, and so within that 1 year, you spend a little bit of your time doing step one. Step one is getting Parse server to run on your server, and once that's done, really simply all you need to do is connect this iPhone end with this server and tell it to stop communicating with the Parse servers by default, and then just sort of release an update to your application, which will essentially allow users to communicate with this other server rather than this Parse server that they host for you. Now, there's just a few disadvantages to this. Why? Well, first of all, Parse had a really good free tier, which is actually mainly why lots of people used Parse, because the free tier of Parse was amazing. It gave you a lot of stuff. However, that won't be available now because now you have to host it on your own server. So whatever specs you get with your server, let's say an AWS server, or maybe you self-hosted, it all depends on the specs of your own server as to how many requests per second you can do, how much you can store and stuff, which might be a bit more expensive, but then again, there's nothing we can really do about that. And if you can find affordable hosting, great. Then you can run Parse on pretty much anything, actually. That also reminds me, bringing me to my next point, Parse will run on cross-platform, macOS X or Linux. And now that Bash runs on Windows 10 anniversary update, you can even run it on Windows. So now, that concludes my little speech session, I guess. Let's move over right to the Mac part now, where I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can host your Parse server on a Macintosh machine, even though the steps are almost the exact same for a Linux and Windows machine. Let's get to it. So, welcome back to the Mac part, and now I'm going to be showing you how exactly you can run Parse server on your Mac or Linux machine or even Windows machine. So let's begin, shall we? So to begin, there's going to be a link in the description to actually a website that describes how you can run Parse server on Ubuntu 14.04. Now, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm running the new macOS 10.12 Sierra Beta, so some things may differ a little bit, but not really. Nothing much has changed. And so first of all, to begin, why am I opening up an Ubuntu tutorial if we have Mac running? Well, Ubuntu uses Bash, Mac uses Bash, they're very similar, I guess, and if you have the Xcode command line tools installed, lots of things become much easier. And so, you're going to need to install the Xcode command line tools for this. You're going to need to install Homebrew, and after that, everything is pretty much the same as Ubuntu. Alright, so let's begin. First of all, I'm going to open up a terminal window. And of course this little page over here, which describes how you can run the Parse server on Ubuntu 14.04. Then what you're going to want to do is just go down, and first of all you're going to use Homebrew to say brew install Node.js. I'm going to click enter now. Now this is going to say, hey, you're using a pre-release version, so you might encounter build failures, but just ignore that, and in just a second this should be done. Alright, so this is going to take around 5 to 10-ish minutes, so I'm going to be pausing the recording now, and right as it is done installing, or almost done installing, I will resume the recording, and then we can see the result. Okay, so I'm going to pause the recording now. Alright, so as you can see, it is now done installing Node.js onto my machine. And so now all we need to do is basically, in this guide, the entirety of step 1 you can basically just skip. All you need to do is install Node.js using Homebrew. Now, if you don't install the Xcode command line tools, or not command line tools, the Xcode developer tools, then you're going to need to install Git using Brew as well. However, I do have Xcode and the tools installed, and so I do not need to install Git, as Xcode already installs that for me. However, next we can continue. Okay, so now as you can see, this guide gives us a git clone command, which clones the Parse server example. So essentially you can just copy and paste that. And as you can see, it clones the repository, and you can essentially just cd into that, change directory into it. And now as you can see, if I list these sort of what all is available. Just one second, let me make this a bit bigger for you. No. Okay, so now, as you can see, if I were to list what's in this Parse server example directory, as you can see, you see a lot of folders and files. Now, this is a Node.js application, and so essentially, if I were to, so basically all you need to do is run npm install on this application, on this Node.js application actually, and essentially this is going to sort of get the dependencies, set up some of the project stuff, and stuff like that. Till then, what you're going to want to do is go over to parse.com. Alright, you need to log in with your email and stuff. And my password. Alright, so now that you're in Parse, what you're going to want to do is, first of all, it's just telling me it's going to be shutting down, and I'm going to create a new application. After creating the new application, just put in a name, for example, self-hosted Parse app. Or I can't write anything else, or actually I can't, that was just lag. Alright, so self-hosted Parse is what I'm going for. Let's create this application, and once that's done, what you want to do is go over to let's see if it's actually done installing. Okay, so it's done installing, so that means you're going to want to go to the core. Alright, once you're in the core, go over to settings, then go over to keys, and then what you want to do is copy your application ID. Once that's copied, which might take a second, or actually I'm just going to copy that manually, then you're going to go to your terminal, and in that Parse server example directory, say nano index.js. This will run the nano editor, or you could use Vim or whatever you like best, and edit the index.js file. Now I'm going to change this so that the app ID over here changes from my app ID to whatever you paste in. Then you're going to copy your master key over here and paste that into your master key parameter in your terminal. Once that's done, that's actually all you need to do. So click Control X. Make sure you click on Y to save, click enter, and there we go, it should save the file. Now all you need to do is actually, I believe, nope, that's it. So now just run, or actually one more thing we need to do. Open up a new tab and write brew install mongodb. Alright, so now this is going to install the Mongo database. Now let's see if this can finish within the next 10 seconds. I guess I'll keep it in the video, or else let's just pause the video again, and then we will continue right after that. So let's check it out, shall we? So I'm going to give this around 6 more seconds. Alright, so I will be back right after this is done installing, and so yeah, let's pause the recording. So now, as you can see, Homebrew is done installing here. I mean, not Homebrew itself, sorry. Homebrew is done installing the MongoDB database to our system. Now, one thing I'd like to do is just type in brew services start MongoDB. What this will do is it will start the MongoDB service, and as you can see, it runs MongoDB. So now MongoDB is running on our computer. Parse is completely installed onto the Parse server is completely installed onto the computer. Now it's time to run the Parse server. Then it's time to create and test a simple iOS application that will be able to insert stuff into the Parse database and retrieve stuff from the Parse database. Let's do it. Alright, so let's begin. Actually, in order to run the Parse server, all you need to do is say npm start. And as you can see, the Parse server runs. And as you can see, it says database URI not specified, falling back to localhost, which is completely okay. And Parse server example running on port 1337. Perfect. So next, what you're going to want to do is say parse migration steps. There we go, finally. There we go. So now as you can see, this is Swift code. Now I'm going to be writing this in Swift. So if you just copy this, alright, open up your Xcode. I'm again running Xcode 8, the first beta. And so once Xcode 8 starts up, I'm going to paste in this code. Or actually, one more thing is, you actually have to go back to Parse and go to the documentation, launch the quick start, and then from this little space over here, go to your self-hosted Parse application, then go data, mobile, iOS, Swift, and let's go new project. So now, what you're going to do is download this blank Xcode project as a template to begin, then we're going to allow this to connect to the Parse server right as it's done downloading. So I'm just going to open that up, open, go into the Xcode project, right as that loads that is, click on open, and in just a second it should open up an Xcode. Now again, this is Xcode 8, so I'm going to allow this to convert to the latest Swift syntax, and I'm going to use Swift 3. And right as it is done creating a preview, then I'm just going to accept it and hope for the best and see if Parse server can automatically be migrated. Alright, so again, this is not too small of a project, so this might take a second or two to actually begin. So just give it a second. Alright, so now I'm going to click on save, go over to this file manager here, go into the source code. Now in the app delegate, first of all, I'm actually going to remove all of this code, every single line, from here, except for the return true. That's something that has to stay. From here as well, I'm actually going to remove these 3 functions as well. Alright, you're going to remove this comment. I mean, I'm just doing that. You don't need to, but it's better too. And also remove this. There we go. So now you're done cleaning out the app delegates. Next, you want to paste in the code that you copied from your little from the Parse documentation. So if I just copy this once more, paste that in there, so now this is going into the viewDidLoad function of the viewController class. Now again, basically what this is saying is it's giving us the configuration, it's looking for an application ID, a client key, and the server to connect to, which in this case is correct. We're connecting to localhost because I'm actually hosting the Parse application on localhost with the 1337 port, and then /parse, which is default, okay? And then we're just saying parse.initialize with configuration, and then the configuration that I just created. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly go over to the settings of this application, and then go to the keys, copy the application ID, then paste that in there, copy the master key, or the client key, sorry. Alright, nope, not this. Not this. Copy this, paste it into this little client key box, build, and let's see. Alright, okay. So now it's actually been changed to initialize with, apparently. Alright, so now if I build, oh, never mind. If I build, yeah, our code should work in theory. Alright, so now that's done building. That means we have no errors. But now let's actually complete the part of the application where it actually uploads something to the server. So in order to do that, all you need to do is say var object is equal to pf object, and we're going to give this a class name of parse hosted, self-hosted. And so I'm just going to say object, let's just say date, the current date is 29th, is equal to 06/29/2016. Alright, so now in a string, of course, I don't want to mess around with NS data at this time. Then I'm just going to say object dot save, and I'm going to, since I know this is going to work, you wouldn't actually do this in an application, but I'm just going to forcefully try this. So now I'm just going to run this on, let's say, an iPhone SE, and so now this should compile the application and start running it. Okay, so now it's going to load up the simulator, and hopefully in iOS 8 and 9, I've seen in the betas, it takes a lot of time to load the simulator. Let's see if they fix that in iOS 10. If they have, great, or else, yeah, I'm going to have to pause the recording again. Let's see. First of all, the simulators. Okay, there we go. I believe this should be much quicker. I believe I read that somewhere. So again, one more thing is that, first of all, this is going to be uploading our simple string to the cloud, or to, of course, my MongoDB database, which the Parse is connected to. Once that's done, it's going to, we're actually going to change the code to retrieve something from Parse, and see if it's able to do that. If it is, great, or else back to the drawing board. Just give that a second more. I'm going to start speeding up the clip now. Alright, so as you can see, the simulator is done loading, and it just ran the application. And so in just a second we should see a warning from Parse saying, hey, you're running a long, you're actually, oh, let's see here. Okay, so now I believe there is a small problem due to the fact that yeah, so essentially what's happening is I forgot to include one thing. So if we actually go to the internet right now and search up NS App Transport Security, then as you can see in the second Apple Developer Forums link, you can actually just copy this little code snippet. Okay, then paste it, actually go to your files, go to, your right-click on info.plist and look at it as source code. Go to the very bottom after this array tag, just paste that in and rerun the application. And essentially what this will do is it will allow Parse to actually communicate with the server that I have running, because the thing is it doesn't have a good SSL certificate and stuff, so iOS is really secure about that. However, as you can see, this should, in theory, be able to upload to the server. Let's see here. It says get hostname incorrect. However, I believe it was able to finish. So now let's just actually try out and see if it was able to grab the data by commenting this code out. And now let's type in, or actually we want to continue to initialize. So now we're just going to say var query is equal to pf query with a class name of parse self-hosted, and essentially then just say query dot find objects. Again, I'm going to forcefully try this, and I'm going to print it out as well. Alright, so now let's see here. Alright, so now this is going to run. Let's see here. And as you can see, it was able to upload successfully, and it gave us date from the sort of class that I created, Parse self-hosted, as the current date. And that's going to be it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed. Unfortunately, there's going to be no source code in the description today because, I mean, there is no source code to talk about. However, all the links that I used will be in the description. And, of course, a part 2 is coming out using a very special software called Lumix to host this. You'll find out more when that's out. And that's going to be it for my tutorial today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much. You can contact me via the comment section down below, or you can email me, tadgymanny@gmail.com, or follow me on Twitter at tadgymanny. Again, all this contact info will be down in the description. I hope you enjoyed. You can even subscribe to me, actually, if you really like my content and you want to see more of it. It really does help out. You can even like the video and share it with other people that you think it could help. Again, thank you very much, and that's going to be it for today. Goodbye.